You deleted the shopping app. You made the budget. You pinky promised yourself that this month would be different. And for like 11 days, honestly, you were crushing it. And then your coworker got on your last nerve, or your ex posted something on Instagram, or Old Navy sent you that 70% off everything email at 11:47 p.m., and now you have 4 new hoodies and $200 less in your checking account. Sound familiar? Here is the thing nobody in the personal finance space wants to tell you. The problem is not your spreadsheet. The problem is not that you need a stricter budget category for miscellaneous. The problem is that overspending is not a math problem. It is a brain problem. And until you understand what your brain is actually doing when you spend, every fix you try is basically duct tape on a broken pipe. Stay with me, because by the end of this, you will understand the actual mechanism and you will have a real toolkit. Not another budget app. An actual toolkit. Let us start with what is physically happening in your skull every time you pull out your card or hit checkout. When you make a purchase, especially something you did not plan to buy, your brain fires off a chemical called dopamine. Now, most people hear dopamine and think pleasure. But that is not quite the full story. Dopamine is less about pleasure and more about anticipation. It is the chemical your brain releases when it thinks something good is about to happen, not necessarily when the good thing actually arrives. This is why online shopping carts are so dangerous. The highest dopamine moment in the entire shopping sequence is not when the package shows up. It is the 2 seconds before you hit place order. Your brain is flooding with the imagined version of the future. The new outfit at the dinner, the tech gadget out of the box, the home decor that is going to make your apartment look like a Pinterest board. The actual item? That is often a letdown. But that checkout moment? That is the spike. And here's where it gets tricky. Your brain is extraordinarily good at pattern recognition. Once it figures out that spending equals dopamine spike, it files spending as a go-to solution. Not just a solution for wanting things, a solution for feeling bad, anxious, bored, lonely. Your brain does not care why you feel terrible. It just queries the list of things that have produced relief before, and shopping is right there at the top. So you are not weak. You are not bad with money. You are running a perfectly functional brain that learned the wrong coping mechanism. Now here is the part that should make you genuinely angry. The shopping experience, every single piece of it, from the store layout to the app interface, was not designed to help you make good decisions. It was designed to hijack the exact dopamine loop we just talked about, and squeeze as many purchases out of it as possible. Walk into a Target. That is not an accident of store design. The wide entrance, the seasonal section right at the front, the smell of the Starbucks on your way in, all engineered. You came in for laundry detergent. You left with a throw pillow, a face mask set, and a miniature succulent. Online is worse. Amazon's one-click buy button was not invented for your convenience. It was invented to kill the pause, that 3 to 5 second gap between I want this and do I actually need this? Where your rational brain might step in and say, brother, you already have 8 pairs of running shoes. Eliminate the pause, eliminate the hesitation, multiply the purchases. And then there is social media shopping. TikTok shop. Instagram checkout. These platforms are not showing you products. They are showing you versions of yourself that you could become if you bought the right things. That is not marketing. That is identity manipulation. The average American encounters somewhere between 4,000 and 10,000 commercial messages every single day. Each one is the output of a billion-dollar industry that employs psychologists, behavioral economists, and data scientists, all trying to trigger your dopamine loop before your prefrontal cortex can catch up. You are not losing to laziness. You are losing to that. Here is the piece that changes everything once you actually sit with it. When you overspend, you are almost never really buying the item. You are buying the emotional state you believe the item will deliver. Think about your personal overspending categories. Clothes? That might be confidence or the feeling of being put together or starting fresh. Tech gadgets? Control, capability, or the identity of being someone who has their life organized. Food delivery every night of the week? Comfort. Is the feeling that somebody is taking care of you, even if that somebody is a DoorDash driver named Marcus. The psychological literature calls this compensatory consumption, spending to compensate for an emotional deficit. And it works. Studies show that discretionary purchases generate genuine, measurable mood improvement that lasts anywhere from 20 minutes to 2 hours. 20 minutes to 2 hours. And then it is gone. And the original emotional need is still there, slightly more urgent because you avoided it instead of dealing with it. So you need a little more next time to get the same relief. This is why it escalates. Not because you get worse at discipline, because avoidance makes the underlying need louder. There is one more spending driver that flies completely under the radar, and it is responsible for some of the most stubborn financial patterns people have. Identity spending. Every purchase you make communicates something about who you are, to other people, and more importantly, to yourself. The car, the neighborhood, the brand of sneakers, the coffee order. These are not just products. They are statements. And here is the psychological mechanism. The less secure you feel in your identity, professionally, socially, financially, the harder you will reach for external signals to compensate. When people feel like they are behind, like they should be further ahead by now, like they do not quite belong in the room they are in, spending on visible status markers becomes an emotional first aid kit. Research shows that in higher inequality environments, status anxiety spending goes up across every income level, because the more visible the gap between where you are and where you want to be, the more powerful the urge to close that gap symbolically. The United States has the highest income inequality in the developed world. It also has the highest consumer debt. Those two facts share a cause. Alright. Here is the part where I actually give you something to use. First, stop trying to win with willpower. Willpower runs out. It is a finite daily resource, and the moment you are tired, stressed, or hungry, it is gone. You cannot out-willpower an industry that spends billions specifically studying how to defeat your willpower. So stop trying. Instead, build friction. Delete shopping apps from your phone, not just log out, delete them. The reinstall time alone is often enough of a speed bump. Remove your saved card information from every website. Yes, all of them. Set a rule: any purchase over $50 waits 48 hours. Over $200 waits a full week. These are not willpower interventions. They are structural interventions, and structure beats willpower every time. Second, track the feeling, not the purchase. For 2 weeks, every time you make an unplanned purchase, write down what you felt in the hour before you bought it. Not what you bought, what you felt. After 2 weeks, you will see your pattern with crystal clarity. Stressed at work? You spend on food. Feeling invisible? You spend on clothes. Bored on a Tuesday night with the TV on? Amazon Prime is about to know your front door very personally. Once you identify your triggers, build a specific cheaper alternative for each one. Not a noble alternative, just a cheaper one. A specific playlist, a walk around the block, a 15-minute phone call to one specific person. Your brain just needs a redirect. Give it one. Third, plan spending forward, not backward. Most people track their spending after the fact, which is useful but too late to change the decision. Once a week, spend 5 minutes deciding in advance what you will spend on this week and why. What genuinely lines up with something you value. Write it down. When an impulse buy calls your name, instead of saying no forever, you say, I'll put it on next week's list. Most of the time, you will not even remember to write it down. The dopamine spike fades in 24 to 48 hours. The desire often goes with it. People who use advance intention lists spend significantly less on discretionary items than people who track retroactively, because you make the decision in a calm state, not a triggered one. Fourth, fill the identity need without spending on it. If you are buying status symbols because you feel professionally stalled, the symbols will not fix the feeling, they will just temporarily quiet it. The only thing that actually silences status anxiety is real evidence of progress. Invest in skills. Take on a project you can point to. Build something. If you are buying home goods because home represents safety and you do not feel safe right now, work on the relationships in that home. If you are buying experiences to feel like an interesting person, choose the experiences that actually make you feel alive, not the ones that photograph well. The spending is meeting a real need. Address the need at the source and the spending becomes optional. The spending is not going to stop because you feel bad about it. It is not going to stop because you know better. It is going to stop when you build a system that makes the automatic version of yourself less likely to spend, and gives you faster, cheaper routes to the emotional states you are actually chasing. You are not bad with money. You are a human being navigating an economic environment that was specifically engineered to take it from you. Now you know how. Go build the system. Drop your biggest spending trigger in the comments. I am reading every single one, and I'm making a follow-up video based on your answers. Subscribe so you do not miss it.